This is Viterbi Voices, your chance to hear stories about research, classes, student life, and more.
Directly from our students, faculty, and other members of our engineering community. All right here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
Welcome back into Viterbi Voices. As usual, I am one of your hosts. My name is Paul Ledesma, Director of Undergraduate Admission at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
And my name is Audrey Roberts. I'm a senior studying mechanical engineering here at USC.
And here we are with another bonus episode, one of our recent live chats. And the host of that live chat is here to introduce it to us. Who are you, mystery host?
Hi, my name is Luz, and I'm a senior studying computer engineering and computer science, and I'm the director of my bedroom. That's about all I can control, I think, in COVID. So.
And where are you from?
I'm from Bell Gardens, California.
Right. Now, this is not your first time on the podcast, right, Luz? You've done this once or twice. Am I right? Am I making that up?
What was that? I'm sorry.
I think we're getting a bad connection on you, so maybe we'll edit that out, and then we'll come back to this. So, Luz, this is not your first time on the podcast.
I'm going to try
right?
turning off. It is not. It is not.
Okay, yeah, wait, let's start over. So, Luz, this isn't the first time on the podcast, correct?
Nope.
I was distinct.
All right, never mind. Don't edit that out. Please leave that all in. Awesome stuff. Real life recording over Zoom.
I think I might try jumping in on another device because the internet connection is just more stable. I don't know if we haven't gotten very far. I can jump in very quickly. Okay, I'm going to drop very quickly and I'm going to join on another device because.
No, she's gone.
Okay, so.
Cool. I'm happy to chat with you guys.
After some fun technical difficulties, Luz is back. Luz, this is you have done a few different episodes, but this one is all about a live chat you hosted. Tell us about this live chat that you hosted recently.
Yeah, so this live chat was all kind of revolving around deconstructing the Latinx experience, specifically in Viterbi, and we kind of talked about things, specific to the Viterbi classroom, but also, kind of trends and experiences that we've had with the greater STEM community as a whole. So kind of very introspective live chat, but I think it was helpful for a lot of people.
I hope so. This is a number of our current Latinx and Hispanic students kind of here representing their lives, telling their individual stories, because there is not one single story, nor is there one monolith for describing that type of experience and coming from different backgrounds. So I'm excited to do this. Let's get out of the way and have you take it over from here, and you host this live chat beautifully. So I hope everybody enjoys.
First things first, welcome each and every one of you to the LatinX and Engineering live chat, brought to you by us, real life engineering students who were in your shoes not too long ago. We'll be kicking it off by introducing our panelists for the evening, all of whom, again, are current engineering students. Then we'll be answering questions that you all submit through the webinar Q&A feature, though I will ask, again, please hold them until we properly get into that Q&A portion. It'll be very obvious, don't worry. And again, it's probably given the title of this live chat, but today's focus will be on kind of examining the Latinx experience in Viterbi. So questions related to this topic are highly encouraged, but again, not strictly limited to this. If you are viewing this live chat from YouTube or viewing the live chat, just at a later date, you're seeing us from the future, don't worry, you can still email us your questions at vstudent at usc.edu. We may not get to emailed questions during this session, but eventually you'll get followed up with a response, so we'll make sure of that. And as a gentle reminder, we are all students. We are here to share the student perspective of Viterbi and cannot answer most of admissions related questions. Please direct those admission related questions to the admissions staff. And here I'm going to throw yet another email at you, viterbi.admission@usc.edu. And once again, at the end of our session, we'll be sharing a couple links as to how to stay connected with Viterbi students and, a couple resources for Latinx and Hispanic students on campus. So let's go ahead and get started. I will kick off introductions with myself. Hello, everyone. My name is Luz, and I'll be your host for tonight. I am a senior studying computer engineering and computer science from Bell Gardens, California, and I'm the proud daughter of Mexican and Honduran immigrants. Now for our panelists, let's go ahead and kick it off with Jacob.
Hey everybody, my name is Jacob. I'm a senior studying chemical engineering from Oceanside, California. Some of the things I'm involved in on campus are that I serve as the president of the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, as well as the LAA Scholars Committee, and I'm involved in undergraduate research.
Next up, Valeria.
Hi everyone, I'm Valeria. I am a sophomore studying industrial and systems engineering with a concentration in operations and a minor in news media and society. I was born and raised in Bayamon, Puerto Rico, and my involvements include the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, which we'll often refer to as SHIP, and the Women in Engineering Advisory Board, the Women's Network, and I'm in Greek Life, specifically Gamma Phi Beta.
Stephanie.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie. I'm a senior studying mechanical engineering and a minor in dance. I'm from Long Beach, California, and I'm involved in the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, where I am serving as the president this year.
And finally, Elizabeth.
Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth, and I'm a junior studying computer science and business administration. And some organizations that I'm involved in are Hermanas Unidas, Athena Hawks, and like Stephanie and Valeria, SHIP, or the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers.
And finally, we have our moderators who will be behind the scenes responding to questions submitted to the Q&A that we don't necessarily have time to get to live. So let's go ahead and meet them. Miranda.
Hi everyone, my name is Miranda and I'm a senior majoring in chemical engineering with an emphasis in sustainable energy, and I'm from Denver, Colorado.
Paul.
Hi everyone, I'm Paul. I am a junior studying computer engineering and computer science, and I was born in Mexico, but I'm currently living in El Paso, Texas.
And finally, Emily.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily. I'm a sophomore studying electrical and computer engineering, and I'm from McLean, Virginia.
Cool. And that just actually finishes out all of our introductions. And now is actually the perfect time to start submitting those questions through the little Q&A feature in the webinar. Just again, want to tell you guys all of you guys that we were all in your position a couple years ago, deciding where to apply to college. And then after that, deciding which college environment would be the best for us. So that's why we're here to kind of, answer your questions and speak to like our honest experiences, especially as Latinx and, having that play such a big role in our identity. To kick us off, I do want us to kind of go back in time, be a little introspective in terms of, what you kind of did to get here. And I'm hoping that this will give us kind of a big variety in terms of experiences and people's journey into engineering. So my question to all of you is, how did you guys feel like you guys got yourself ready for engineering? Did you guys actually feel prepared coming into Viterbi? Anyone can kick it off first.
I would say I came prepared. I was definitely exposed to some engineering throughout my whole life. My dad, he's a civil engineer, so I vaguely knew what engineering was. And that's something I had kind of like a mentor guiding me through the path towards engineering. But besides that, I was very active in like looking for opportunities related to engineering. I tried to go to like free summer camps in the area, or just like talk to people like that were older than me that were interested in engineering to figure out like why they wanted to do that and why they were attracted to that. And I also just really catered, not necessarily my classes, but my clubs in school towards that. So I try to be involved in like STEM stuff. I do like science club, math club, to just get a better understanding of what engineering was and if it was the right fit for me.
I can give, I guess, the other perspective from the other end of the spectrum. I had never been exposed to a lick of engineering before taking my first class at USC. I think a lot of it's just that curiosity that you always had. You guys are obviously here because you have at least some interest in science and math. I think it's great if you have experience to engineering prior to college, but it's not too common. So if you don't worry about it. Just that curiosity that you've had, let that continue to drive you. Keep in mind your classes are going to be tricky. They'll be difficult, but they'll be doable. So just you stay motivated and you anticipate that there'll be a little gap in difficulty, you'll do all right.
Yeah, pretty similar experience. I wasn't too sure how to prepare because I just didn't know what to expect being a student in engineering. So the best way that I was able to prepare was taking some core AP classes or just any class in general, whether it was physics. I took chemistry as well and biology. So I pretty much took any science class that my school offered at the time. And that was kind of my form of preparation. But other than that, I did try and reach out to other college students and get their perspective. And all of you here are doing that already. So you're much more prepared than I ever was.
Yeah, I didn't know a whole lot of engineering, especially in my early years of high school, but I actually discovered this summer program called Girls Who Code right before my junior year of high school, which is this really great program for you ladies out there if you're interested in STEM and coding. It taught me basically kind of the basics of computer science. And from there, I kind of tried learning and picking stuff up on my own, but I never necessarily really took or focused on kind of hard computer science courses before going into college. So definitely, like Jacob said, a lot of learning, trial by fire, just going through it freshman year for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I thought that was a good question to kind of kick it off because everyone starts at different places. And I think that's something that isn't necessarily true in high school, but definitely very, very true in college. And to kind of just stay within this time frame of like us going back in time, so like, you know, kind of high school seniors, you know, did you guys have any reservations when it came to like picking and applying it as an engineer, especially as a Latinx student? And to kind of add the introspective aspect to it, you know, how do you think those reservations kind of stack up now as you're kind of firmly in your college careers? I would say I don't think we have any freshmen here, so yeah, curious.
So personally, I knew that I wanted to do computer science, but I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with that. And something that I thought was really cool that USC offered and almost no other school did is the program that I'm in right now, which is computer science and business administration. And for me, I think that I just got really lucky where both of my interests, business and computers, kind of merged in this really special program major that USC has. So I kind of got lucky like that and just happened to really fit into that program. And I'm a junior. I was really scared when I started that I would change majors because a lot of people say, or they say that a lot of people will change their majors once they start college. And I knew that I was really into this USC program, computer science and business, and I really didn't want that to happen to me. But here we are 3 years later, I'm a junior and I'm still a computer science and business administration major. So you do sometimes keep the major you go into. And I think that also shows just how cool it was that USC had kind of that special fit for me too.
For me, it was a bit different. Like I think I applied to each engineering school that I did for a different major. Like for some of them, for USC I applied industrial systems. But then for others I applied chemistry, environmental. I had no idea what specific engineering I wanted. So that really that was definitely a reservation for me, just not knowing what direction I wanted to take. But I think I came from an environment where like my graduating class was like 42 students. So it was a very small knit community and we knew each other, and I had constant support from my friends, like knowing that like it was okay if I had like wasn't sure what engineering I wanted to. And like Elizabeth said, like if I didn't like whichever one I chose at whichever university I went, I could easily switch out to something else. Luckily, I really love what I'm doing. I love IFE, so I've stuck through it. But just that support that like it's okay if you don't have it like right off the bat when you're applying, and it's completely normal to change after.
I would agree. I think I chose chemical engineering for something similar, that it's like a running joke. It's a good engineering major if you don't know quite what you want to do, because it, in my opinion, has the most balanced combination of math, chemistry, physics, biology, and even like a little bit of programming. So I chose it because it would give me the flexibility to choose to something else if I decided I liked that better. While that ended up not being the case, like everybody else here, I liked my major and I stuck with it. I think one reason I felt really comfortable coming to USC is that it had that safety net. Like once you're in Viterbi, you can switch to another major, and the advisors work with you very well to do so. Whereas at some other schools, it's a bit more difficult, especially if certain engineering majors are in their own departments.
I think one of my reservations when applying to college, specifically within like engineering, was that I wasn't too sure if I was going to be able to find a community that had similar experience or similar backgrounds as me. So something that I did actually look up was senior year of college was when I found out about SHIP and that it's a national organization. And so I kind of just looked at all of the universities that have chapters, but I also looked at other universities to see if they had any similar organizations or any type of program that would help support underrepresented students within engineering. And pretty much every university does have one. So that kind of alleviated that stress and the worry of not finding a community right away. So I definitely recommend all of you doing that.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely echo what a lot of you guys said. I was like, engineers make money, right? I'll apply for that. And, I had the flexibility safety net of, obviously already being in Viterbi and switching around if need be. So definitely relate to a lot of you guys there. I'm seeing a lot of questions in the Q&A feature, from questions that are along similar lines. I'm seeing questions from Maria, Fatima, and Emma, who are all asking kind of about, community building and specifically student organizations that you guys have found on campus. So to kind of form that into, an actual question for you guys is like, and this is a little bit of a bigger one, so feel free to like take your time with this one, but what strategies have you guys employed to kind of find community? And if you have found those through student organizations, like please go ahead and share with us what those student organizations do and how you specifically have fit in those student organizations.
I guess I'll take it since I was kind of touching upon it already.
Amazing segue. Amazing.
Yeah.
You already knew.
So I obviously I'm very involved in SHIP, but that was basically the community that I found that has really helped me in my undergrad experience. I was able to find it because I have an older sibling who was attending college and he was involved in SHIP, so he kind of plugged it to me, and I kind of had it already in mind. So I kind of found them at the club fair. But what we do is we're a academic, social, and professional organization. So basically what SHIP does is we help Latinx and other minority students within engineering and within STEM. So we provide like events to get to know other fellow Latinx engineers, as well as being able to get those skills to talk to recruiters and being able to get your grades up with tutors and things like that. But this organization really did help me because they touch upon everything and anything that there is. So they really have helped me grow as a leader and especially as a student, and has definitely made me found my closest friends within USC.
Does anyone want to add any more? I know we have tons more student organizations. So, and then, anyone want to add to that? Maybe I know 4 out of the 5 people here are in SHIP. So I don't know if anyone wants to add, or if Jacob, you might want to plug LAA, right?
Yeah. So I'm not in SHIP, so I can talk about that. I think one thing that I was looking for in college is I wasn't looking for one single community that like kind of encompassed everything about me. I felt like I was looking for like a group of communities that I could become involved in through different organizations. So I'm really involved in AICE, it's the Chemical Engineering Club. No matter what your major is, you'll have a club for your type of engineering. I think that's a really great way to meet your peers and your classmates, people who you're going to be seeing in a professional setting very frequently. But in terms of finding that community just of like-minded individuals with similar life experiences prior to college, I joined LAA, which is the Latino Alumni Association. They particularly on campus have a scholar committee where it's primarily run by students. Just a group of us get together and plan different professional or social community service events. We've had a really great mentorship program where you get paired up with an alumni in a similar field or with similar interests, and you're able to just exchange stories and dialogue with them to get some professional guidance. We have movie nights during quarantine. We're even trying to do it. just hanging out with peers, getting to know one another, people who you will not run into in your classes. Like some of my best friends in this org are theater majors and business majors, people I wouldn't interact with on a regular basis. So I appreciate it a lot because it's kind of one of the great things about USC is it's so big and diverse. So casting that wide net to make sure you interact with a ton of different people has been valuable for me.
Sweet. Yeah. So again, considering that 4 out of 5 of us here are in SHIP, I wanted to spend a question, I guess send it specifically towards my fellow SHIP members. I think it's an exciting organization specifically because it exists at a national level. So I'm curious for all of you guys, I want to hear your guys' stories as to, I think Stephanie covered this briefly, but for specifically for Valeria and Elizabeth, how and when did you guys actually get involved with SHIP, and in what ways has this kind of sometimes ambiguous national organization, impacted your college experience?
Yeah, so I can start. I was actually, before I ever started at USC, I was super deliberate about researching and finding Latinx organizations on campus, because I knew that for me, that was something that I really cared about. I wanted to still have that community of people with me. So I actually found SHIP on La Casa's website, which is USC's Latinx student resource kind of center, the umbrella center for all of the Latinx stuff at USC. I literally just looked at all of the list of student organizations that fell under this category, and I picked out 2 that I liked. So that was, or 2 that spoke to me. So the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers and Hermanas Unidas, which is a cultural organization at USC that is really just kind of a safe space for Latinx students. And I've met a lot of people there, not from Viterbi, so that's really cool, like Jacob was saying, meeting a lot of different people. But for SHIP specifically, my first real interaction was at the career fair, going up to the booth and talking to someone. And from there, I actually went to their very first event, which was the barbecue, the Korean barbecue social, where we try to cram like 40 college students in this Korean barbecue restaurant, and everyone else hates us, but we have the best time, and it's really cool. And from there, I kind of just kept going and showing up, and little by little kind of becoming a part of the community. And 3 years later, I definitely feel like I'm a part of the SHIP familia, so I'm super happy with where I ended up, I guess.
For me, I was definitely not as proactive as Stephanie and Elizabeth before applying to college. I didn't look up any orgs, but I knew once I was accepted and once I was in, and once I was a freshman at USC, I knew exactly what I wanted to look for, and it was a Latinx org within engineering. So the first club fair, I walked through the little hallways of booths, and I just was like on a mission to find any Latinx org, and that's how I found SHIP. And I signed up, went to the first GBM. I was very intimidated just because, so I come from a completely Hispanic community. Like I live in Puerto Rico. It was a very big culture shock coming into the United States, especially Los Angeles, was so like diverse, and coming into like USC and SHIP, I was trying to look for that sense of familia and community that I was used to back home. So I was scared that like maybe I didn't find it, maybe it was like too big, maybe I was like too different. But I immediately felt welcome. Our current vice president, executive vice president Rudy, just came up to me and started talking to me like crazy, like he just would not stop talking, but made me feel really at home. And then from there, I just joined a committee. I joined the public relations committee, and we were like 4 people. So it allowed me to get to know that group really well. And also joined the new student advisory board, which is a group of freshmen who wanted to get more involved in SHIP. And it gave us the opportunity to just like do stuff for each other, like plan events, and really get to know the upperclassmen better as well as each other. And that really just helped me realize that like I could find a home in SHIP, because everyone, especially through NSUP, I realized everyone was in the same boat as me. Like we were just looking for people that had similar experiences to us, that were just trying to find similar faces. And yeah, through that, I stuck with SHIP, and now I have a leadership position within the same public relations committee. And it was one of the best decisions I made in my freshman year.
Awesome. We love to see growth. We love to see it. We have another question from Emma Markowski, and I'm going to extend this question a bit. So how open are Latinx/Hispanic clubs to people who are only part Hispanic or Latinx? And I guess kind of to extend this question a little bit more, obviously there, outside of, just the diversity at USC, there's tons of diversity within the Latinx community of like where people come from, their backgrounds, and their relationship to how they handle their identity, right? So I guess to summarize, like the actual question that I'm trying to ask you guys is, how well do you think our student orgs or student communities kind of handle the intrinsic diversity within the Latinx community itself? Big one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I can try this one off the bat, considering my last name is Tony. Not a super traditional Hispanic last name, of course. I'm clearly here. So I think it's about something I kind of touched on earlier. I guess just for context, I'm half Hispanic, so half Mexican, half white. So, and of course, the group that I'm involved in has been very embracing of that, considering I currently serve as the president. So I think it's about what you identify with, and about acknowledging the fact that like your identity is a component of multiple different things. It's a combination, right? So you're not just Hispanic, you're not just white, you're not just an engineer, you're not just from California or wherever you may be from. It's a lot of different things that come together and make you. And balancing these different things, like no one of them kind of has a monopoly over your entire life. So I think that has been valuable for me, just kind of being involved in a lot of different things, each of which highlight a different element of my personality or identity, has been my experience, and that these clubs are very open to that.
Yeah. I want to go back to something that I was saying earlier. In the end, like every club is made up of people that are just like looking for a sense of home and just trying to find where they belong. And everyone has their own like nuances that make them different, but they serve as more of like a learning experience to learn about what makes like other people unique, rather than just like a separating factor. It just lets you like learn more about other people and unite more through our differences. I know specifically for SHIP and many Latinx orgs, you don't have to be like, for SHIP, you don't have to be Hispanic to be a member, and you don't even have to be an engineer to be a member. You just need to be like passionate about the message that we convey about empowering Hispanic and Latinx students in STEM. And as long as you're united by that same cause, there's no like you will find a home in SHIP, and that's the same for many other orgs, like Latinx orgs outside of Viterbi and other orgs that are not necessarily Latinx oriented.
Cool. Yeah, I thought that was going to be too broad of a question, but you guys actually killed it really good. So thank you guys. So another question that we have from the Q&A, we have Victoria Gutierrez, and to kind of an extent Soleil, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, kind of asking things around similar veins, where Victoria asks, as Latinx engineers in the Viterbi School of Engineering, how is the diversity within the Viterbi Engineering school, within the classroom, kind of impacted your experience? And outside of that, what kind of support systems have you guys kind of found in that at USC, or even outside of USC too?
That's a really good question. I can kind of start to talk about it. I think it can definitely be really intimidating, especially as a freshman, to walk into, for example, a huge lecture and realize that you're one of the only people that looks like you that is Hispanic. And the numbers definitely, it's not anything close to the parity that we have for gender, for example. At Viterbi, I think we hit gender parity a couple years ago, which is really awesome. But the numbers are definitely a lot lower for Hispanic engineers. I think the really cool part is we've definitely kind of banded together, especially in the form of SHIP, to come together and have that community. It definitely can be hard to find and hard to kind of see right away if you're kind of just kind of looking at things. But definitely if you look a little bit harder and try to look for that community, it's definitely there for you. And USC also has a lot of really cool resources for minorities. For example, the Center for Engineering Diversity is really awesome, and a bunch of other cool things.
Yeah, that was something that noticed pretty immediately was, especially at USC, like the gender ratios are pretty equivalent. I believe it's 50-50 now. But that was something that kind of surprised me because I know engineering is a male dominated field. So it was nice to see more female representation. But as for Latinx representation, like Elizabeth was saying, definitely found that community within SHIP. But outside from that too, there's also the Center of Engineering Diversity, which is for anyone who really identifies as a minority student or anyone who strives to make better experiences for minority students. So checking out or being a part of CED, which is the Center for Engineering Diversity, was definitely a way for me to be able to cope with that kind of initial shock.
Cool. Yeah, thank you guys for those fantastic answers. I'm actually going to shift gears a little bit and talk about, how you guys are super involved and amazing students. Carlos Javier Galan Zavala, I hope I'm saying that right, is asking, hello, I see that all of you guys take part in a lot of clubs. How do you guys manage your time with such a high academic workload? Just a lot of nods. Go on, guys. Yeah, just sink it in.
That's a very important question. I need to process it.
I would say, I think one question that people kind of ask a lot is, how did you prepare for college? Like based on high school, what's something that you took in high school that's been really useful in college? I think my answer to that is time management skills are something that you develop in high school that are really valuable in college. So I guess that's kind of my answer to this question. Time management skills that you've been developing the past 4 years. You might not use all the classes you took in high school when you come to USC, but you'll definitely use the time management. So I think there's still a learning curve, but I think that makes it a lot more favorable of a curve.
I know I definitely am not the best at time management, but I have been using some tools that have been helping a lot. One, Google Calendar. I swear by Google Calendar, I have everything, like every single meeting, every single class. Even I'll block out time for just solely being on TikTok or like Netflix or playing Among Us or anything like that. That's my time. But Google Calendar is definitely something that helps me keep track of things because you can set up reminders. But also I made a spreadsheet on Excel with like every single assignment that I have due for the semester. And I made it in order by deadline. So I kind of just like check it off every time I finish one. So if I'm ever like, oh, I don't know what assignment I need to do, I just go to the Google spreadsheet. And then I'm like, okay, I have to do all these things this week. Okay, I'm going to do this on Monday, this on Tuesday. So it's kind of my way of getting organized. And it definitely has gotten better, but it was not like this in high school. So using some sort of tool is definitely really helpful, whether it's a planner or if it's a digital tool like Google Calendar.
To add, one thing that really helps me is if studying with like a person. If like right now it's like virtually through Zoom or like with my roommate, but sitting down and studying at the same time and like holding each other accountable to making sure that we're getting our work done. Just so like if you want to watch a movie afterwards or if we want to do something fun, we keep each other accountable to make sure we're getting our work done first in order to actually enjoy what we want to do after. And yeah, just really having that extra system of support that's not just like me doing my work alone, that's other people that are also going through the same workload really helps.
Yeah, I think something that really helped me too, because early on I realized that I did not develop the time management skills that I should have in high school. And so what helped me was being really deliberate and sitting down and just planning out my week or my couple of weeks ahead of me. And like Stephanie said, I will literally sometimes block out like hour by hour exactly what I need to do, just to make sure that I check all the boxes and make sure that I do everything I need to do. Because there's definitely something I didn't realize, more free time, but there's also more responsibility that comes with that. And learning to manage both is definitely something that you'll have to figure out no matter where you go.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people in the audience are taking notes because you guys are all actually spitting out like proven techniques that are used for time management. So don't Google, only talk to us about how we manage our time. God knows I need to learn a thing or two from you guys. But let's kind of stay on this kind of, you know, gear where we're talking about how awesome you guys are, and let's stay on this note of Latinx excellence. Are any of you guys, you know, had any cool internships or are involved in any like cool research on campus that you think, you know, folks at home would be really interested in hearing about, even part-time jobs or anything like that? Elizabeth, I know you have one, so stop giggling and just tell me.
But yeah, I have a part-time job at this company called Major League Hacking, and it's actually really awesome because I got it through a USC student org called Athena Hacks. And what I did kind of pre-COVID is actually travel around to different colleges around North America, so including Canada and Mexico, and going to hackathons, which are 24 or 40-hour creative marathons where students get in teams and build anything. So an application, a website, hardware, software, anything you want. I would basically come out to events like those and hang out, pass out resources, do things like that, do workshops and events. And that's something that I was able to find through USC, through my student org. And now it's something that has been super duper cool. And like I said, pre-COVID, I got to travel around to a lot of really cool places. So yeah, that's a part-time job that I've been involved with.
Nice. Anyone else want to pick that one up? Because I could definitely try answering it myself too. Cool research. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and add my 2 cents. I mean, the soft networking of Viterbi is really real. I got my first job at NASA JPL through a connection actually at SHIP. Shout out to Anna, even though she graduated and is definitely not watching this. I know, you know, and also from there, you know, connecting with recruiters, done, you know, internships at Facebook and Google, and just came off my internship at Microsoft. And I'm a senior now, and I don't, you know, I don't know quite what I'm doing. I'll report in a week from now when I actually have to make a decision about where I'm going in the next year or so. But yeah, I'm going to put that out there as a testament to like kind of those soft networking skills and like the cool types of internships you guys can get at Viterbi. This is kind of a question a little bit out of left field, and now definitely shifting gears. For any kind of first gen students that we have in our panel today, do any of you guys kind of want to address like challenges that are kind of unique to being a first gen student, specifically in engineering?
Can't really think of, I mean, since my older brother went to college for engineering, I did have a little bit of exposure, but that also meant that he was really busy most of the time, especially during when I was applying to colleges. He was in the middle of midterm season. But I think overall, one of the challenges that I did face was just kind of learning what everything meant, like ACT, SAT. I had no idea what that was. The FAFSA, filling out the FAFSA with my parents. Oh my God, that was a roller coaster. But I think one of the things that really did help me was, since my parents couldn't necessarily help me fill out these applications or study for these exams, my school offered a college and career service that was open to all, the entire high school. So I spent a lot of time there, and I was able to learn from them. I attended a small like SAT study prep program, so that really helped, and it was all for free. From there, I was able to figure out that I can get, you know, college applications waived because you do have to pay for them. And by the way, if you get free reduced lunch, you don't have to pay for your college apps. Just saying. But going to that resource was really how I was able to apply to college like a lot easier than if I had to do it all by myself. And, like since my brother was kind of busy, but yeah.
Yeah, I can add on to that. Being a first gen student, like Stephanie, I also had an older sibling who graduated before me, but he was a business major. So especially in terms of engineering, I literally knew nothing about how college works. Office hours were confusing to me. I didn't know that you had to look for internships in the fall. I kind of had a lot of these questions that I didn't even realize I had. I think there's that joke that's like, I don't even know what I don't know. I kind of ran into that a lot, but I was lucky to have the support of my older brother who helped me out a lot. And also just my general community, reaching out to people, not being afraid to ask questions. I was also lucky enough to be a part of this group called QuestBridge, which I recommend checking out if you're a low-income student, because it has a lot of really great resources for you as well. Yeah, I guess just asking questions. It's okay to not know some things. Definitely reaching out and not being scared to do that helped me for sure.
Cool. Yeah, those are great answers, everybody. I'm gonna switch it on us again because America Luna Herrera asks, what is the general environment of Viterbi? Does it feel overwhelmingly competitive? I think what America is asking here is what's the vibe? Can you guys tell us what the vibe is?
Oh, I can start since I said so. But honestly, there's a really big community vibe, I would say, at Viterbi. I feel like other schools might be more competitive in terms of like in between students, but I've really seen people. We have this computer lab called SAL where people tend to come to do their homework or projects and finish things up. And it's honestly rarely pitch quiet, super quiet in there. There's always people murmuring, helping each other out. There are TAs who will help you with your assignments as well. So I would say it's definitely not overwhelmingly competitive. I think there's definitely a really cool support system built in, not only with your teachers and your assistants, but also your peers, which is really cool.
Anyone want to add on to that? Get some different perspectives.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. It's super collaborative too. I think it even spans across majors as well. Like frequently, I think, especially in quarantine, it's tough to do a lot of work that we have. So just finding someone else who's also doing work and will keep you in check and accountable, I think is something that is a testament to how collaborative the culture is at Viterbi. So you just kind of do work together, even though you're not the same major. And that's something that existed in person as well, but it has translated nicely to the online format. It's not like you have to be both doing your chemical engineering homework together, just friends who are also struggling on assignments. It's that good camaraderie.
Oh yeah, the 2 a.m. Zoom sessions, mutual suffering. Yeah. That's what it is. Mutual destruction.
Oh yeah.
And I guess, again, I'm sorry to just keep switching gears on you guys, but this is a question that I definitely want all of you guys have the chance to answer. Considering our setting and, talking to probably majority prospective students, but, do you guys have a piece of advice that you would give kind of former you, if you can go back 4 years in time, 2 years in time, what advice would you give that, Latinx high school student applying for engineering programs?
I think I can go because I feel like I have the freshest memory out of all of us. I tell senior year me to relax, first of all. I think it was definitely a very overwhelming process, not knowing what was going on, feeling, I'd tell her, like, for me, I'd tell myself, like, don't let your rejections or your failures define you. Take that as like a learning step and grow from that. But also just know your worth. Being a woman and being Latina, entering a STEM field always felt like a lot of pressure on me. Like I felt like when I didn't get it, like I felt a lot of imposter syndrome through the process. And sometimes when I did get in, I'd hear oh, you got in because of like the diversity quota, like you got in because you're a woman, or you got in because you're Latinx. And it was very hurtful, like coming through that, but telling myself to like know your worth, and like no, like you're here because you were a good student and you worked hard to earn like whatever you got. It's something that I just give little me a pat on the back and tell her just like stay strong, know your worth, and just relax.
Yeah, honestly, like Valeria said, I wish I could tell my younger self to just like calm down a little bit, to just like not be so stressed out, because I know that this was such a stressful process and I had so many doubts in my mind. And I know it's so easy to say and hard to hear, but everything really will work itself out eventually. I wish I believed that when I heard it when I was that age, but definitely just let things happen, definitely work hard. Actually, one concrete advice, keep trying hard in your classes all the way through the end of senior year. Do not try to kind of breeze through your AP test because you think you're fine, because remember that USC needs a 4 or above. And if you don't get that, you're gonna have to retake some classes. So do not slack off at the end of your senior year. That's actually advice that I would definitely give to my younger self too.
Stephanie, do you want to try tackling that one?
Sure.
Next.
For me, on same thing that Lady and Elizabeth have been saying, I would just told myself, chill. Like, it's gonna be okay. I remember being so stressed because you still have to, you're applying to college, but at the same time, you still have to keep up with your schoolwork, with if you're involved in sports. Like I still had dance recitals and dance practice and stuff. So it was very overwhelming time, but I would definitely tell myself to chill out a little bit. But more like a more serious note of advice would be to not be afraid to ask for help. I did mention that I would go to the like career services, but more than anything, what I did there was like look at the flyers and the postings that they had. So I definitely was intimidated by the college and career counselors that they had there. And they were there to review my resume, review personal statements. And it wasn't until like very late in the game that I went to them and sat down and be like, oh, hey, can you read my resume? So definitely being a little bit more or less shy and not being afraid to ask for help when you need it, because that's what people are there for and they'll be more than happy to help. So that's what I would have told myself.
Nice. Jacob, you want to close us off with that question?
Yeah, I agree with everybody. Chill out a little bit. I'm still telling myself that, so I don't know if I'm the best person to speak. But,
do as I say, not as I do, right?
Yeah. Precisely, yeah. Another thing I'd mention, to echo what Stephanie said, it's helpful to find people who have gone through what you're experiencing before, who provide that mentorship. But specifically, at least for me, I found it valuable to become friends with upperclassmen in your major. I thought that was super helpful, not just in the context of like, it's a buddy who's gone through what we've gone through before, but they'll really provide those soft skills and that mentorship. My internship experiences and the research that I do, both of them, like it was a upperclassman mentor who helped me find the opportunities. It's a friend to have. They'll tell you which professors are good, which ones are not so good, when to take which classes. It's just a really nice resource to have. And that's probably the number one thing I would tell myself if I was going back as a freshman, to take advantage of that more.
Yeah. And I guess finally I guess my own 2 cents too, like I think imposter syndrome for me kicked in really early, even as I was applying to college. You know, I was like, I don't know computer science. Why should I apply for this? Like, I'm going to be overwhelmed immediately. And I was a little overwhelmed, but that's normal when you don't know anything, right? But I think if you can develop any sort of comfort with like, you know, not be comfortable in not knowing, because you're a student, that it's in the title, you're here to learn. So like, it's fine if you come in with no experience. You'll just put in the work and it'll be fine at the end. So that would be my advice to you guys, especially any of you guys who are feeling nervous about, you know, entering STEM or an engineering field. I guess we're coming up on the last 10 or so minutes for the live chat, and I kind of wanted to take the time to ask the question that we ask at kind of at the end of every single live chat that we have, because we think it adds a lot of insight to prospective students. And this is one that I want all of you guys to answer too. Why USC? and that's it. That's the question. When you guys are making your decisions, how did it end up landing on USC?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
I can go since I kind of touched on it already. So I mentioned that USC just had a specific program that really fit for me. But I was actually also, I remember in the decision-making process, trying to choose between USC and a smaller private research university, a lot smaller. And something that just really gave USC the competitive advantage for me is the network and the family that comes from being a part of the USC community. Because the school is so large, you really do get to be able to take advantage of all the different resources that they have for you. And USC really does have a ton of resources that I'm sure I probably only know about 5% of them. So definitely having that kind of bigger network and the idea of the Trojan family is super real and helpful when you're trying to get that career later on. So those would probably be a couple of things that made USC stand out for me.
Yeah, I can go next. For me, it was definitely the fact that I've always had like diverse interests. So as I mentioned early in the beginning, my minor is in news media and society, which is in the School of Journalism. I had very, very diverse interests, and USC was the perfect space for me to pursue both of them. And that's very true for people from like all different schools within USC. Like even Stephanie, she's a dance minor. It was the perfect opportunity for me to just like pursue those different interests, and like Viterbi actually encourages you to do that. So they made it really easy for me to like go ahead and not just be like a STEM kid, but be like what I wanted to be, which was like engineering and journalism.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
Okay. What to touch upon what Valeria was saying, for me, I definitely think that one of the two biggest things that I kept in mind was, one, if a university offered the flexibility to be able to do things outside of engineering, and USC offered that. As you can see, we both have, or Valeria and I have like minors outside of engineering, but also that within the program itself, that they offer flexibility to either, switch majors, because it's not as impacted. Like what you say here is, once you're admitted to your major in engineering, you're admitted to the rest of Viterbi. So it's very easy to switch majors. And I knew that was something important to me, like just having that safety net. If I didn't like this specific field of study, I could switch into another if I wanted. But a less concrete decision was when I visited the campus. I immediately felt like a sense of home. Like I could envision myself being there for 4 years. And when I visited other colleges, I kind of asked myself that as well. Like, can I see myself being here and being here for 4 years for that fact? And for some, it was immediately like, no, I just didn't like the vibes of the campus, or like something just didn't click. But I mean, as soon as I stepped foot to the campus at USC, it was just like, this is where I'm going to be at. Like, I don't know how I was going to make it work, but I made it work.
I think in my case, when I was coming down to my final college decision, I was primarily deciding between a really small only STEM school, a really big state school, and USC. So two different ends of the spectrum, I guess, with the small STEM and the big state school. I think both of them have their pros. I liked the idea of being an environment that was really rigorously science and engineering. Was what I wanted to study for a reason. So being able to do that at a high level in all the different subdisciplines of STEM was really appealing to me. Also having the experience of going to football games and meeting people who are doing other majors and having clubs that weren't just engineering or just math and science. I kind of wanted that as well. I really love music. I like history, all these sorts of things that I wouldn't get at a school that was only STEM. And then Viterbi with USC was kind of split in the difference. With Viterbi, you have that small school. It's most of the people in Viterbi. It has the kind of the vibe of a small STEM school. Then at USC as large, it's a big school. You meet tons of different people. satisfy whatever different interests you have that make you the unique, cool kind of person that Viterbi wants. So I think being able to satisfy those different elements of yourself, or of myself, I guess, because this is about me, is why I chose USC.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, one big thing for USC also was that first year, like your first semester, you're taking major classes. And like Stephanie said, like, and I mentioned earlier, I wasn't sure what engineering I wanted to get into. Like I applied for one, but I knew that there was a possibility of changing. So I like that my first semester, I took a major course because that gave me enough time to scope it out and like early on determine if ISC was for me or if I had to get on gear to change to something else, which I didn't, but it was a good thing to have that exposure to the major early on.
All right. That was actually our final question for tonight. You guys killed that last one. And for everyone watching, we hope that you enjoyed the live chat tonight. I actually gained some insight as to what it might be like to, be a Latinx student at Viterbi. And if you missed any of the live chat, you are more than welcome to watch the whole thing and see our beautiful faces on our YouTube channel all over again. And again, we would love for you guys to stay connected. And the best way to do that is through our Viterbi admission information sessions. It's a great opportunity to try to learn more about, specifically the application process because there's admissions officers there. And if you're interested, you can register at viterbiadmission.usc.edu/visit. And I will say that, some of us might actually be visible again in an info session. So if you want to see my glorious face, sign up for an info session again. We also want to take a moment to shout out some amazing resources for Latinx and Hispanic students. We have the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers at SHIP USC, La Casa, which is basically, a larger student org that kind of encompasses all of USC. You can follow them at La Casa the USC on Instagram. Again, Jacob's plug, LAA, the USC Latin Alumni Association. You can follow them there. Finally, we have also the Latino Student Assembly with their tag there. And of course, the USC Center of Engineering Diversity. Follow them all on Instagram to stay connected with them and, check out what they're up to. That's it from us, really. Thank you guys again for tuning in tonight and good luck on all your college apps. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as typical USC fashion, fight on.
All right, thanks so much for that live chat episode. It was really awesome, as Paul said at the beginning. What are, I guess, some major reflections on the live chat? Was it fun? How was hosting it? I know a lot of people are turning out for these events.
Yeah, it was super fun. I mean, I was familiar with a lot of the people who were on the panel, and it was nice catching up a little bit and like kind of, sometimes being an underrepresented minority in STEM and engineering specifically, it can be an isolating experience. And then, but having these kind of events that allow all of us to like come together and, kind of, relate over shared experiences is makes me feel good. I hope for our audience members, it can bring them some comfort as to, you're not going to be alone in these experiences because it's normal and we're all going to talk about them.
Well, once again, Luz, I applaud your fantastic skill in moderating this discussion that went into a lot of great areas. I am really thankful for you and the rest of our panelists for sharing your personal stories and helping our prospective students learn a little bit more about what it's like. As you said, it can be isolating. People can feel alone in this process. They can feel that they are not deserving of this experience. They're not ready for this experience. And I think if anyone out there has listened so far, they know that they are just fine. And we are going to help, and we are going to help create a community that involves them. And we're going to build that up as best we possibly can. So Luz, thank you again for doing this conversation. I really appreciate it. And this one is definitely going down in the record books.
Thank you. I appreciate the praise. I really do.
All right, y'all. We'll see you all next time.